We are live here at Quantum Heart Talks, and I am so excited, humbled, and honored because my beautiful soul sister, Ruth Elisabeth, is in the house all the way from Australia. Yay! I actually got the time right this time. Thank you, everybody, for joining us here live on Quantum Heart Talks. And if you're here even on the replay, thank you, thank you, thank you. We are coming in live, as you know. This is Tony Taylor, and we have started off our Oktoberfest with a bang. We have been doing daily introductions with our special guests who have been sharing their protocols and their business insights and just helping you just raise the mojo vibe, because you know how much the Mojo Girl loves that. And these beautiful souls that I have met through this wonderful quantum wellness tool called Limbic Arc. This is the whole point of our Oktoberfest, to introduce you to our community and to show you how these amazing, lovely souls, even with all their knowledge and all their experience about quantum energy, even they see how absolutely beneficial it is to have such a simple tool that works in the background. And we'll get into that in a moment. But first, I want to introduce you to this lovely lady, Ruth Elisabeth, the author of this amazing book, which, by the way, my mom ravished it, like I think in about 3 days. As we know, my mom's known as the book lady. She loved it. And she just is she was just like, gee, can we talk to Ruth? Can we talk? I said, of course, Mom, anytime. She was just thrilled. Absolutely. So thank you, Ruth Elisabeth, for joining us and taking the time out of your day, because I know you're super busy. You're a mom, you're a grandmom, and you just moved. And I know what moving is like, because, wow, I've done that a few times. And it's a busy time for you. So thank you so much for joining us today on Quantum Heart Talks. And I just want to share you with the world and just tell everybody what you do and how did this get started? Let's start with that.
Ooh, I've got one myself. Oh, look, Diamond Matrix Masters has been my entire life's work. No doubt about it. And I think I started my life off in a very dark place. I mean, glorious in some ways, of course, but then the imprinting comes in, and society's imprinting, etc. And so it actually spiraled instead of, floating and ascending. And it was because of things that I was taught. But I mean, I'm not a victim to that by any means anymore, and I've completely healed my life. And so my journey was to heal my life. So not anybody else's as such. But
the way, though, don't you think? Like, this is how we all kind of got started on this path, is we were looking for that moment in the mirror that says, how did I get here and how am I going to get out of it? Because this so far sucks and I need to up level. So it seems to be a common theme with all of us that we were looking for something else that we hadn't experienced yet. And so this is what I was talking about. It always seems to take that kind of like that big push, to wake up. So obviously for you, what was that moment like for you?
I find it really hard when it comes down to moments, because I think that every decision that you're making, every split second of your life, is actually projecting you forward. It was more a decision. Sounds really strange, but it actually came from, I've got a nursing background, and it came from me meeting or working with an elderly person, and she was so bitter and, at her senior age. And I realized that if I continued on in the same vein, that I would end up as her. And wow. That was like just this master shock that I cannot continue doing what I'm doing. I have to actually let go of the pain and start coming forward. So it actually came through meeting someone that I really just don't imagine spending a life of misery and still being, isolated and alone and in, pain and critical and things like that. And so I didn't want to be that, and yet I could well have just continued on and lived an entire life in that vein.
But can you imagine, I mean, honestly, Ruth, I mean, think about how many people, even when they witness or come across somebody like that, they still don't snap. You at least had the wherewithal to step back and go, oh, wait a minute here. There's a lot of similarity, and I'm not liking the way it looks. So, I mean, good for you for seeing it, because a lot of people don't.
Yeah, I know. I suppose that's the case, but I suppose that'd be, so I was about 21, 22, and I was running a business at that age. So I've always been quite entrepreneurial and trying to see things out of the box. And from a medical background, it was like, you know, people are really sick, and they're being fed more misinformation than true information when it comes to alternative health. And so I actually ended up going into alternative health and became a sports therapist and amazing massage therapist, and just, you know, helping to open people up physically to allow the body to function properly. And so I suppose I've always been fascinated by the body. This vehicle that we walk around in is absolutely fascinating, how it regenerates itself.
Isn't it though? I know. It's an amazing, this avatar we're running around in is really
cool. I love it. Isn't it? I came down in a really snifty little vehicle, so I might as well be happy in it and use it properly, you know. Yeah. So I then began to be introduced to energy work. So I've got a very Christian background, which didn't really believe in the ability of the body, spirit, soul sovereignty. And so even it was always given to a greater outside of me, and I never understood it. And it was like, well, you know, it can get pretty serious the consequences if you don't follow these teachings. So I felt that I had to go onto a journey. And so as an adult, I went back into the church, excuse me, and began to restudy the Greek and the Hebrew, and got trained spiritually what was the true rendition of a message and what wasn't, what was the original word or meaning on text, and that regardless, you know, regarding what I've been taught. And so I found,
sorry to interrupt, but I just want to reiterate on that. A lot of people forget how many times things have been translated. It's kind of going back to that saying, lost in translation. You know, and things get interpreted, whatever ego that person is in the moment, to translate. And so going back to the original text, Hebrew and Greek, is very powerful. And the only reason why I know that is because my mom spent years studying the Hebrew and the tongues of God, the language of God, in the Hebrew. And I don't know so much about the Greek, but you're right. The Hebrew language is extremely powerful, and the translations very much differ even amongst the people who speak Hebrew. Like, there's a real interpretation there. So it's fascinating that you felt pulled to do that. How long did it take you to do that? Oh, I think we lost Ruth. Yikes. Ruth. Okay, well, we're going to see if we can get Ruth back in here again. But in the meantime, if you've got a chance, this is the book that Ruth has. It is called The Diamond Matrix Masters Self-Mastery Level 1. It is fabulous. Like I had mentioned, my mom had jumped in, and it was amazing. So let's go to, anybody have any questions? I'll get Ruth back in here in a moment, because I know she'll hop back in. So hang on a second. Let's see if we can get her back in here. She probably lost her internet, because we are coming in from Australia, right? Oh, there she is. She's popping back in. There she is. Hello there.
Just working it all out.
I'm just telling everybody about your book, you know, just kind of filling in airtime. I figured you'd come back in at some point. I was just asking you how long it took you to really dive into the Hebrew language, because I know my mom spent a long time, and it's really quite extensive. And even the Hebrews have their own even interpretations of it.
Okay, so I haven't talked about this for years, but so I spent 10 years with concordances, about 6 different versions of scripture, and I would actually come back into my greater self and ask for the truth across on that particular subject that I would have question on. And the reason, it was just an amazing journey, because it meant that I was the one that was instigating the question, And then it would be shown to me, and I would then be able to go across the scriptures and their versions to find out the actual meaning of it. Or I'd just be taking it. It would be amazing. I'd just open it up and boom, there was my answer.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, so this built a knowing within me as to the construct of what we've been told versus what is truth. And so it can't be taken away from me because I'm the actual one that did the journey with it. And therefore you build on knowings. And so this is what I've written in the book Diamond Matrix Master, Self-Mastery Level 1. And it's taking us back to soul sovereignty, which means, and I'll just to describe it if you don't mind, because
yes,
this really gets a person's...
Please.
So the first question I ask anyone that enters our Quantum Living with 4-Body Wellness schools is, if your soul pulled out of the top of your head right now, what would your body do? So if your soul pulled out of the top of your head right now, what would your body do, Tony?
Probably fall.
It would fall on the ground. Absolutely right. Now, this is science. Okay, this is pure consciousness science, which is taking us back beyond what beliefs have been taught to us and you know, social constructs and all that. It's absolute nonsense. We are actually this soul sovereign being. And the second question that to logically ask is, if it's my soul keeping me upright on my feet, then what can I do with this stuff? And this is where we're introduced, of course, to the next section, which is the quantum field. So the quantum field is within us. So if I am soul sovereignty and I have a triune being, which I do, of the divine masculine, divine feminine, divine inner child, here to experience what I came here to experience, then what's going on is that I will have a quantum field, which is the primordial way that creation takes place. And primordial creation is the quantum field. So the quantum field means that if I project, and this is where the masters have always taught, what you sow, you reap. What you project out from you must pixelate and come back to me in the form of an experience. And this is what we've been learning from, you know, over the last 20 years with law of attraction and things like that, but people haven't quite gotten to the basis of it coming from your own conscious sovereign self. And so we're actually utilizing the quantum field all the time. We're in it, we breathe it, but what we're doing is we're projecting out mindsets, or we're projecting out pains, or we're projecting out wounded child issues. So most people are actually projecting from a sense of wounding, which comes from being opposite. So if I turn around, so we do it from a sense of praying, pleading, wanting help in plan B, instead of me, I am that I am this, okay? And I project with absolute certainty what it is that I want to experience. And this happened for me in 1999. I went through a massive connection.
That's even before The Secret came out. The Secret didn't come out until 2010?
Well, I was given a message on Mother's Day 1999, and I was in this amazing upliftment. And this is where I completely turned around from being on my knees to experiencing the oneness of my sovereignty with soul. And what happened then was there was this word that came in, and it says the science of man will go up a gradient until it meets with God. And I'm going, woo, that's amazing. The science of man will move up a gradient until it meets with God. And that is when The Secret came out, okay? And so for those who bag The Secret, you know, settle down. The Secret actually brought us into quantum mechanics, and that we could take responsibility as sovereign entities to create the world that we want to live in. And this was just amazing to me. So yes, I got that in 99. The Secret came out afterwards, and I've just progressed from this total sense of oneness and unity. And I haven't, you know, I had to still go through then discounting, the beliefs that have been put in me in my own nature, that wasn't always strong and things like that, and living these experiences that, drove me into more connection. And this book is, I don't know, the more I'm listening to what we are living today, okay, the more that people are talking about the new earth, the new dreaming, the rainbow energy, the diamond energy, the beautiful blue hues and the rainbow energy, is what it does is it actually breaks down. So the new frequencies, which are photon frequencies, so we're turning to stellar energy now. We've come into a 2,000-year band of photonic light, which is stellar energy rather than solar energy. So this is actually science. It's all science, okay?
Yeah, it's all completely science. And it's interesting. I wanted to, you touched on something that's so important that people are just now kind of flipping in their mind's eye, is that, you had talked about how we've been taught from a very early age that everything seemed to be external. And it couldn't be further from the truth. It's completely internal. And that everything we're manifesting comes from here first, not out there. So even if you're standing there and you're doing the hoping and the praying and this, to me, I always say to people, when you're doing that, yeah, you're manifesting all right, because you're still coming from a place of lack.
That's so right. You are manifesting.
Right?
We're absolutely projecting. Yeah.
That's exactly right. So this is that moment where you're saying, whoa, wait a minute. What if we got it all backwards?
Yes, that's it.
Yep. What?
Back to front and upside down. Absolutely. Right. We have had it back to front and upside down. We just haven't, and there's no judgment in that. We have lost our elders. We've lost our ancestors. We've lost the teaching. We wiped it off the face of the earth.
Did we ever?
Yes, it has been here before in the sovereigns and in the originals, but we've actually wiped it off. And our Western model has taken on the chemical side of everything, being, well, my body is broken because when I'm back to front for myself, I'm actually in fear. I'm being depleted. I can't seem to restore or energize myself, because I'm not actually connected to my sovereign part of me. My focus is not on that. And it's only because we haven't been taught about the life of the Christ, planetary Christ within us, which is it's the substance of which we're made. We are actually a divine creation. We are perfect in nature. We are one with all dimensions. And so because we actually have this total multidimensional ability to connect into the greater us, and I call it our board of directors. So we've actually got the triune being.
I'd like to dial up my board of directors, please.
Yes, absolutely. I went through this amazing initiation process, which I talk about in the book, of meeting my board of directors. And it was like the phoenix rising in my life. It was amazing. It was absolutely amazing. And I show people how to actually go through it. And we do this in our Diamond Quantum Living with 4-Body Wellness schools. But we had that experience absolutely connected me into my board of directors. And this comment came through from my soul, who said, would you put a wounded child onto your board of directors? I'm going, oh, that just broke me. This statement was so powerful. Would you put a wounded child onto the board of directors of your company if you were creating one? And I'm going, oh my God, I've been living with this filter of wounding all of my life. And then I had to heal my wounded child because I'm a projector, I'm a creator. So if I'm putting it through a filter of wounding, what am I going to get back to me if I'm actually a creator? So
that seems to be the biggest hurdle for a lot of people. People don't realize how far back those wounds go. This is something I've touched upon. Everybody that's come on's touched upon.
Generationally.
It's so far back. It's like, it's not right now. It's like, you've been dragging that stuff right up to the now, which has been, just piling up the whole time. And this is, I think, what's made it so difficult for people to find that connection, because they don't really realize how deep it is. And this is where I know when I introduced limbic art to you, you were so thrilled and so open to experience it. And one of the info boosts we had done with you after you had done your spark, which was the 10-second voice recording and the kinetic touch, you said, you know what, Tony, I would really love to experience the prosperity boost. And I said, sure, fine, okay, no problem. And soon as you pushed that activate button, your heart exploded. Even it was so strong. I felt it. We were on a Zoom together.
I know. We all felt it. It was amazing.
It was you said it came right through your back, right through you, and just boom. And I felt it was like I would like this. I went, whoa. It's just this is what's so incredible. This is where people just are mind blown by quantum energy, because it's quantum. It's everything. Energy is everything, and everything is connected. Yeah. And when we're in full intention and we're intentional and really giving all our focus to that moment and the person in front of us, or the whatever it is that we've chosen to do in that
Yeah.
moment, the energy just builds in that sphere of influences even more. And I'm just so grateful that Michelle had the courage to share her story so that I could witness her journey. And then by her doing that, I was able to experience it. And as soon as it happened, it was really interesting, because for me, it was back in April. And as soon as I experienced it, it was like, oh, OMG, the universe has truly delivered. This is what's going to shift humanity. And what it couldn't have come at a better time. I mean, good heavens, look at us, for heaven's sakes. And with all your beautiful energy and your beautiful protocols and your wisdom and your knowledge and your experience, like everybody says, this is just another tool, not doing something to you, but doing something for you. And it just runs seamlessly in the background while you're able to do these beautiful modalities with people who want to reach out to you and experience what you know, and how we can get back to that sovereign essence of knowing that it's all here. It's not there. It's not there. I mean, it's all around us, but it's really here. And that's what's coming out. And you do it. I'm just so thrilled that, oh my gosh, I'm just so excited. I can't even find the words.
I'm so excited. I'm so excited. One thing about this, okay, this is absolutely the next technology that was meant to be here. And we've known that new technology is coming in at a quantum level, because it has to be, okay? We've got 5G coming in, we've got quantum computers. This is the next leap in technology. But the beautiful thing about this, and this is why people are using limbic arc to actually free themselves of conditions that they, prior to understanding that they are a sovereign entity and can reproject or produce new results, okay, through using quantum, they've brought these ailments upon themselves. And we don't like to take responsibility for that as such, but generally any disease that you walk into, you've walked into over a period of time because of what you've been doing, either energetically with the physical body, the emotional body, the mental body, or the spiritual part of you. So we just break it down.
It's such a package deal. We talk about it all the time.
I know, it's really funny because you talk about the 4 bodies as well, and it's really cool that you do. So, of course, Eastern philosophies are all over it. They've been teaching this stuff for years and years, thousands of years. We, as the Western model, have completely disregarded it, and we've come into such unwellness that we are dying in droves, okay? We are chemically addicted. We use chemicals instead of pure quantum energy. And this is where limbic arc, and what it does is, so people who have actually created these issues for themselves through non-alignment, and always through non-alignment with the sovereign soul within themselves, and being in touch with their board of directors, who is always with us. We have this magnificent light that works with quantum. Now, I just want to say what happens with limbic arc, because this is cool. It's called 0 point. So even as a person has manifested stuff that they don't really like, I use the word stuff for all sorts of things. It's a scientific word, stuff. No judgment on anything. It's just now in the manifestation of the physical realm. So what this does is this actually collapses the creation. So it actually goes into the quantum creation that has gone before. Now the soul itself has, excuse me, the soul itself has got no issue. That means it is not sick. It is not unwell. It's got no beliefs that we think we believe, okay? It does not have anything except for unconditional love and the ability to to use electromagnetic forces to create any world that we want, okay? But when we've actually created what I call a miscreation and we're in the system living plan B, then these things have to keep showing up in our reflection. Yeah. And when they show up in our reflection, we're actually going, you know what, I'm out of alignment. But what we do is instead of coming back into soul sovereignty and reaching up to the greater me, we actually go to a doctor or someone outside of ourselves, and we create more conflicts because by that time we're actually labeled with it. The world that we're actually entering gets bigger and bigger and bigger. This is what happens with mental health. I always say don't go into the doorway of mental health, okay? Because within a 6-week program, you'll actually be spiraled on drugs of some sort and be talking mental health speak.
Yeah.
And that language is disastrous. And I've seen, close friends go down that tube, and it's ghastly to watch. It's a horrible thing. So
it's not just for mental illness. I mean, it's a lot of things. I mean, look at all the emotional stuff. It's just part and parcel to the whole layering of the wounded child and all the generational crap. And then we become adults, and then the chatter begins, and that's where all the mental stuff starts coming in, right? It's just this massive layering of band-aiding and symptoms and blah 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 blah. And it's so beautiful because this is the whole point when I start introducing all you amazing souls, you amazing humanitarians. This wisdom that you're sharing, these golden nuggets, these diamond nuggets that you're sharing. There's a thread of commonality there throughout every conversation. Every conversation, it's an inside game. We've been cut off from our true sovereign being. There's so many different modalities that you can use that are outside that external programming that we've had for so long.
Absolutely.
And with Limbic Arc, it is just this seamless, synergistic, simple tool that just runs in the background. You don't have to learn anything. You don't have to attach yourself to anything. You don't have to look at anything. You don't have to listen. You just go in, do your little scan, which takes 10 seconds, and bada bing, bada boom, you're done, and go live your life. Just go live your life and do these amazing modalities that all of you beautiful souls are sharing with this community. And I can't wait to introduce you again to our community for our 30-day challenge, starting November 1st.
So I agree. So with that, I just want to finish off saying that what Limbic Arc is actually doing, so it's actually tapping into the photon energy at 0 point. No matter what a person, and this is the Christ within, this is the soul sovereignty within you, has the capacity to absolutely collapse false creation. And this is what happens in a holy instant. So people don't understand how quick this happens. This happens in a holy instant, that the photon energy, the Christ energy within you works with your original blueprint, okay, of your entire system that you came in with, the seed of your construct. And it comes in and goes smash, crushes it, and then the greater you projects out the true creation, which is what? Healing, wellness, prosperity, and all of those opportunities. So that's plan A. Plan A is to live in soul sovereignty, connect with the greater you, let go of all of the wounding and stuff that we've miscreated only through ignorance. We didn't know what we're doing. There's no judgment on anything.
Oh, gosh, no.
A lived experience. And this book is handy for you as a tool because it teaches you on quantum law versus human law. And right now we are under the greatest oppression that I have ever witnessed, that is human law locking us down. And so this, by understanding quantum law, there is no lockdown in soul sovereignty. I've been virtually unaffected through all of this because I choose not to participate in it. And there is nothing in the board of directors or my soul that can actually take on a virus or not bless anyone that is experiencing suffering around me. The light of this actually projects through and permeates and brings about the 0 point quantum effect. So limbic arc, you've got these genius creators who I haven't met yet, would like to actually do that, but has been developing it for 30 years with the intention. So why does limbic arc work? Here's the science behind it. The people who have come to understand quantum mechanics in the quantum field, and then to understand 0 point, have created all of these things that you can actually receive it through intention. So the creators have created this ability through intentions of the spark, and we're still creating more sparks, of course, that will just progress into all sorts of amazingness, like growing limbs back and God knows what. We're going to be doing amazing things, healing cerebral palsy. I was told many years ago that we won't be able to heal cerebral palsy or Down syndrome until we come into diamond. Diamond is 0 point quantum, okay?
Wow.
And the more we build, okay, the more magnificent access that we're going to actually have as light beings of the new earth that's actually coming in. And we're the ones who are developing it. The new leadership is coming through, because we're not actually talking about fear, you know, good, bad, what's right and wrong and all that. That's the game. That's the system. We don't want that. We just ignore that construct. We don't give our money to the pharmaceuticals. We don't go into a chemist shop. We don't go to a doctor. We come to limbic arc, or preferably your soul sovereign self.
Well, both. It's both.
Okay. However,
Yeah.
limbic arc is gobsmacking amazingly. It is the new technology absolutely for this time and is so recognizable. I'm just celebrating that it exists. And, you know, to see it going off with the fire that's within it right now is so right. And people want to be freed from their slavery. You know, people are actually enslaved by their bodies and their minds and their emotional sides themselves. We don't even have to deal with emotionalism and mental health. It's like when you're in alignment, okay, you've got quantum happening, and be a director. So this is what you have to be, a director of your own energies. And these gifts with limbic arc are absolutely bypassing the emotional, physical, mental, and spiritual bodies that have accumulated false doctrines within that belief construct. So this is just going straight to the heart of 0 point, saying, no, the intentions have already been set by the orchestrators of limbic arc. So they've been setting this amazingly powerful stuff that happens at 0 point. We are just grateful to receive. We take it on. But I tell you what, I want you to understand the effect on the energetic body. The heart chakra, if you actually understand your system as a light body and you understand the chakra systems, may you feel your brain chemistry realigning. You feel the divine masculine, divine feminine coming together. It heals dyslexia. It heals brain chemistry imbalances. It heals schizophrenia. It heals so many different things when you're actually bringing in this light force, because it balances your system and it balances your brain, and then it balances your hormones, which feeds the rest of your body. So energy itself brings...
We were supposed to be so manipulated and poisoned on so many different levels. That's the problem. This physiology is so smart. It knows how to survive. Even with all those poisons and manipulations, it's still surviving. Now we just need to find a way to get rid of all that poison. And we have all these beautiful modalities. And now we have access to the 0 point field, which you so eloquently describe, where it just brings it right in there like that, faster than the speed of light, because that's where the energy takes place. It's already in its purest form. And now the physiology just follows. And it's dense down here. It takes time, but it is it's in its purest form right there. Bada bing, bada boom. There is no...
What is it doing for Mother Earth? Tony, what is it doing for Mother Earth? We are not raping and pillaging the earth. We're not planting mass production of organic foods. This is actually bringing in through quantum. That is amazing. We are not having to live with the outrageous, distributions of things, all of the warehouses, the actual plantings of things, and just pulling up, and clearing plantations. None of that is involved.
I know, isn't that we're actually saving the planet.
Yes, we are.
It's
Absolutely.
awesome.
Oh, you don't have to do anything.
You are so amazing. I could talk to you all day. You're a wealth of information. And so we're definitely going to have you back on Quantum Heart Talks. I just so appreciate you. I so appreciate your wisdom and your insights and your heart and all the diamond nuggets that you share. Thank you so much for being part of our community and sharing with others so that they too can really tap into their sovereign being and understand it's closer than they think. So thank you everybody for joining me on this Quantum Heart Talks live. And if you're back here watching the replay, thank you so much for hopping in. And we will definitely have our Ruth back for sure. So if you want to get Ruth's book, Ruth, where's the best place to get your book? Amazon.com? Is that the best place?
Yes, everywhere. Okay. Diamond Magic Masters at Self-Mastery Level 1. Okay,
yay! So everybody, you know how to reach out to Ruth. When our stream is over, Ruth, please go into the chat and just put your information in there so people know directly how to reach you directly. That would be awesome.
Not a problem. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you for joining us tonight live on Quantum Heart Talks. And thank you, Miss Ruth. Thank you so much. Namaste.
Diamonds.